And on a lighter note this morning, this race wasn't for the faint of heart.
Actually, doctors would probably approve the faint of heart to run in this race because it was only 0.1 K. That's 328 feet. Reading is sending him to prison. It's a twist to a story we've been following for almost a year now. A man who testified against a convicted murderer to get a lighter sentence has gone from probation to spending 16 to 45 years in prison, all because a judge said he was reading a magazine on the job. In January of 2012, Michael Bachheim was shot and killed by Charles Brown Jr. His conviction came about after Vernon Heath testified against him. Heath said he provided Brown with a murder weapon, and that testimony allowed Heath to serve only 1 year in prison and 5 years on probation. While on probation, he was working at the Grand Rapids Recycling Center, where he was sent home multiple times for reading and talking on his phone while on the job. A judge said that violated the conditions of his probation and sentenced him to 16 to 45 years in prison. It's a move that pleases the family of the murder victim. We're back at East Hills with Terry and Jack Doty making another appearance this week.
Yes.
As we learned last week, you kind of have to do what works with the baby. But who needs an alarm clock when the baby screaming that the diaper is wet alerts you that they need to change the diaper?
Well, I was going to ask you, you're a new dad.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think this would be helpful, or is Jack pretty good about letting you know?
He's getting better about dealing with them when they are wet. I like the ones that have the indicator strip on them because then you can tell when they're wet, or eventually you just go...
The sniff test.
Yeah, and you know to change them.
Yeah.
But would I buy one with a vibrating bracelet? No. No, I would not.
So much.
Police in West Michigan are still looking for a missing man from Wyoming. According to law enforcement, Dwayne Ritter was last seen on Burton Street early Thursday. They believe he may be driving a silver Ford F-350 pickup with a silver cab. That truck is also missing. The truck should have the Michigan license plate 9FNX12. If you know where Dwayne Ritter is, please call police or Silent Observer. That number is on your screen. If you are one of the millions of people whose insurance policy was canceled because of the Affordable Care Act, you might be able to get it back. According to the head of the Michigan Department of Insurance and Financial Services, the state will allow insurance companies to reinstate policies that don't meet Obamacare standards, but that final decision is up to the insurance company itself. If you do have a canceled plan and it is decided that it can be offered again, the insurance company is required to do three things: tell you why it didn't meet Obamacare standards, tell you about the financial assistance that may be available, and list the other options available on the online marketplace. A staff member at Saranac High School has been placed on administrative leave after accusations of an inappropriate relationship with a student surfaced. And from one ship to another, many today are pausing to remember the anniversary of the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald, one of the worst shipwrecks in Great Lakes history. It's something that every golfer, I think, wants to try, but that's the first time. The ball's come back before, but...
He now has a job doing cartoon voices.
That had laser sights. Here we go. The great Chichi Rodriguez. This season's episode has a bunch of former NFL players like Jerry Rice on it, so he got to do it not only in front of the world, but to celebrities and things. Yeah. As Les Nessman called him on WKRP in Cincinnati, Chai Chai Rodriguez.
Helping improve posture after giving birth.
And you're not ignoring them. You don't have to feel guilty about ignoring them.
And you know what? We know when we start, when they're little, showing them about exercise, that they end up having a healthy lifestyle. So involving them in exercise is a good thing. Right, Jack?
Sarah, you'll remember a few weeks ago we were talking about a total of 6 people signing up for health insurance online on day 1 of the exchanges. Well, the rest of the month, not a whole lot better, as just over 106,000 Americans enrolled in a health insurance plan since October 1st. The numbers were released yesterday, but they don't really tell the whole story. The troubledhealthcare.gov site saw less than 27,000 enrollments, meaning most of the people who signed up did it through a state insurance exchange. Those numbers are a far cry from the 500,000 that the Obama administration estimated would sign up in the month of October. And now rumblings are coming not from Republicans, but also from Democrats about fixes being needed and soon. So since Kisler is a second baseman, Omar Infante's probably gone, Miguel Cabrera moving from third to first base, and Nick Castellanos, former Whitecap, might finally become the third baseman full-time for the Tigers, which people have been calling for a long time. Or they could bring Brandon Inge back.
No. Is he available?
Throwing that one out there.
Well, it is always interesting to me, Tim, how like Dombrowski, like how long has he been thinking about a deal like this? You know, these guys are so good at what they do.
The reports say he made the first call earlier this week, so it was only a couple of days that it happened, but he's working all the times. I remember Joe Dumars at one time was considered the best general manager in basketball. That was a while ago. Ken Holland, long considered one of the best general managers in hockey. You got to put Dave Dombrowski in there because he has made huge moves with the Tigers, and it's always to make that team better. It's not just to save money. They're clearly willing to spend money. And now they can spend money on Max Scherzer, keeping the Cy Young winner.
And we're all looking to see what happens with the skip, Brad Osmus. That'll be interesting.
And he's got a whole new staff. He's got Will Clark on the coaching staff.
That's Omar Vizquel, is that?
Omar Vizquel as well. And it's, only a few months till opening day and spring training.
I'm going to need to write all of this down because I have not been able to contribute to anything in the last 20 seconds.
They got rid of Fielder. They got a new guy who's pretty good.
Got it. That's all I need to know.
I guess I could have done that report in a lot less time there.
No, for someone.
Good morning, Mike. When you lose power, you have a few options. You could go somewhere or you could stick it out and try your luck with a generator. But if you have a generator, you have to know how to use it. We'll have some tips in just a second. But first, let's check with the Consumer's Energy Outage Map to see how many people are without power right now. The power outages stand at around 47,000 statewide right now. And the hardest hit areas are in the southern part of the Fox 17 viewing area. More than 4,000 people without power in Kalamazoo, more than 3,000 in Berry, and more than 3,000 in Calhoun counties. More than 2,000 people are without power in Allegan County, but less than 1,000 right now in Kent County. And when we think of outages, we normally focus on homes, but they also affect businesses. The Harbor Humane Society in West Olive lost their power, and they resorted to using generators to take care of their cats and dogs. Now, if you don't have one, you do know how to use it. So here's some tips courtesy of West Michigan Heating and Air Conditioning. Don't keep that generator inside, nowhere indoors, and don't keep it in a contained space like a garage. You use it outside, but make sure the exhaust is pointed away from the house. You don't want any fumes coming in. If you feel dizzy or sick while using a generator, turn it off and then get outside, get some fresh air, and keep anything combustible, gas cans, things like that, at least 6 feet away. And remember, a generator, a small one that you buy at a hardware store, will not power your whole house. Take a listen.
If you're trying to, energize multiple devices or even trying to wire into your furnace or into your electric panel alone, do not attempt that. That is definitely something that you want to have an electrician look at and get done properly.
You could also go to a Red Cross shelter if you are without power. They are open in Kent, Kalamazoo, Calhoun, Cass, and Berrien counties right now. You can't spend the night. You need to bring your own bedding, your own pillows, medicine, personal hygiene items, things like that. But you don't have to spend the night. You could just go there, get warm, and plug in your phone, things like that, before you head back out to your own house. Now, Consumers says they expect to have everything back on by Friday. And as far as the Harbor Humane Society goes, they need water right now. They want to give it to the animals as well as use it to clean out kennels and runs and things like that. It can be bottled water, well water. They'll take anything right about now. Live in the control room, Tim Doty, Fox 17 News.